Welcome to the 11th episode of Cartridge Chronicles, the podcast where we dust off the cartridges, blow on them, whether that helped or not, and dive deep into the games that shaped us. I'm Questmaster Prime, joined as always by Mars Attacks, and today we're trading the sprawling 32-bit cities for the cramped pea-green monochrome caverns of a hostile alien underworld. We aren't talking about cinematic FMVs or survival horror RPG mechanics today. We're talking about an entire planet marked for total ecological liquidation, a silent bounty hunter in powered armor, and 39 parasitic organisms that need to be completely eradicated from existence. Today we are covering Metroid 2: Return of Samus for the original Nintendo Game Boy, released in 1991, serving as a masterclass in handheld atmospheric tension and a foundational pillar for one of gaming's greatest sci-fi franchises. This is a game that took a massive NES hit and successfully condensed its isolating labyrinthine DNA into a tiny gray plastic cartridge you can play on the bus. It's a game that features no map, a ticking counter of remaining targets, and some of the most aggressive, unsettling creature evolutions ever forced onto a 2.6-inch dot matrix screen. It was Nintendo's daring attempt to prove that a deep, high-stakes sci-fi adventure can thrive in the palm of your hand, and it's a legacy that still echoes through modern gaming. Grab your headphones, charge up your batteries, and make sure your missile expansion is maxed out. This is Metroid 2: Return of Samus. All right, I am here with Mars Attacks, and tonight we're going to go over Metroid 2: Return of Samus for the Nintendo Game Boy. It was released in 1991, developed by Nintendo, and the development team was led by Gunpei Yokoi, who was also the creator of the Game Boy itself. The team, they knew how to push the system to its technical limitations. That's why, in my opinion, the game looked amazing on Game Boy. It was the only difference between the Game Boy and the Nintendo version really was there was no color. Yeah, there was no color. And I really thought they did a good job with what they had with the Game Boy. I thought it was amazing. I think if any other developer developed this, I don't think it would have been as good as when Nintendo. I mean, it is Nintendo's property, so they would develop it. But if somebody else tried to do it, I don't think it would be nearly as good as what these guys did. So, what are your initial thoughts on Metroid 2?
So this was one of the first games I got on Game Boy. I didn't get a Mario game. I didn't get Kirby was Kirby, Metroid 2.
Oh yeah.
Baseball 2000. I don't know if you know what that is.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Raging Fighter, Mortal Kombat. Those are just some of the. This is one of the first games I got for the Game Boy, right? And I remember playing this game. Like I'm gonna say something true here. I never played Metroid on the Nintendo system, so I never played the original Metroid.
Okay.
So I'm going into this game. I don't even know any of the stuff.
You're going in blind. Yeah. Nice.
So I never played Metroid 1. So this was one of those games where, so back in the day, kids, gaming systems had physical batteries that you had to put into them. The Game Boy took 4 AA batteries. I would play this game and my battery would die. Like that's how long the hours I would put into this game. Just to give you some idea. So I am playing this game. This is probably one of the first games that I beat over and over again and put just. Again, I'm playing the game till the batteries run out. This is one of those like I don't know if you remember the magnifying screen and the light
thing that
came for Game Boy.
That was a huge godsend.
and the
That
battery
was,
pack.
yeah, that was a huge, especially like long trips and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Oh, it
So
was great.
I asked for that specifically so I could play this game at night in my room because I was like, I was just okay. I had never played anything like this. And on the Game Boy, like you said, the graphics were so well done from anything I'd ever seen on the Game Boy. So that's my first impression was all I remember, the music still plays in my head as you're like, on top of your ship, before the game gets started, and then you're just running and gunning, and you're going through different I guess would be a dungeon type game or board, but this is also one of those I guess this is where Castlevania / Metroidvania, you're going through different areas to get power-ups to basically get to the end. So my
And
first impression was I just was so enthralled. You're wearing a spacesuit, you're on a different planet, all of that stuff. The music changes from each of the different levels. I loved it. I loved it.
and you mentioned the soundtrack too. The soundtrack was composed by Roji Yoshitomi.
I
And
have the soundtrack.
you had the
Like
soundtrack, and they actually went above and beyond. Remember, we were talking about the graphics. They went above
Yeah.
and like they went above and beyond with the soundtrack as well. They pushed the sound chip like to its limits. So you mentioned like the soundtrack. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was all good. Like you won't get into that, but yeah,
it was like I said, I never played the first one, so I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was getting into, but I don't even know. Like, I think actually, I do know. This was like a bundle I got for Christmas. My parents bought. I don't even know how they knew this game existed.
How did I have a question for you? Since you didn't play the one for the NES, how did you how did you find out about this game, and what made you interested in it before even playing it?
Well, I knew about the first one. I knew about the first one because you saw the commercials on TV, right?
Yes, yeah.
But I'd never played it. But I didn't know there was going to be a part 2 on Game Boy. That it just arrived at my house on Christmas, and I was like, okay, let's try it out. Kind of, I guess it'd be the same too with like Kirby's Adventure. So I didn't play the Nintendo one till later. I had the Game Boy version first. And then I went and rented the Nintendo game version. So the Game Boy was kind of my, I guess would be my like go-to system before going to Nintendo. I don't know why. That's
okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That's the portable system.
I think because it was just in my room and it was something I easily grab. I didn't have to fight my sister for it.
Yeah, that's the thing with the game. I had this on it was on my Christmas list because I played the NES one and I loved it. I beat it and I was like, I want more Metroid. It's one of my favorite series of all time. I love Metroid series. And I wanted this game for the Game Boy because I was like, well, I go on these long trips sometimes. And I'm around a whole bunch of adults. Now I didn't have a sibling like you did. I didn't have anybody to kind of have fun with while I'm on long trips. So I was either one of the only kids around. There was other kids to play with on a lot of these trips, or if I was in a waiting room or something. Like I had to get a Game Boy. I had to use my Game Boy, and I definitely wanted this game for the Game Boy because it was Metroid on the Game Boy. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to get this game. And unfortunately, I didn't get it. I didn't get it back then. I didn't actually play this game until I got into college. Really, I didn't. Yeah, I never played. I played the Super Nintendo Metroid. I played this. I think this was the only Metroid game I didn't play until college because I played up to college because there's more Metroid games after that.
Yeah. Well, you were a Super NES kid also, so
yeah.
So I didn't play that one till like way later. Like I guess it would be college because I didn't have a Super NES, right?
Oh, right, right.
I was a Nintendo person, so it wasn't until emulation was a thing that I could actually
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I can't. I think so. You played the first one, right?
Yes.
You wanted the second one, but you never got it. But like, were you getting other like Game Boy like the Game Boy games at the time? So you had like the Mario one, you had it was weird because for a while there, it was like every game that came out on Nintendo, they had like a Game Boy version,
Yeah. Yeah. They did. Yeah.
and it didn't matter what it was.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, they did say they was Super Nintendo. Like, if there was a Nintendo version, they had to make a Super Nintendo version of it,
yeah,
especially if it was popular, right? Like, if it
yeah.
was a popular game, it had to have a Super Nintendo. It almost like demanding it.
So let me ask you
Yeah.
this: do you still have your Game Boy?
No, I wish I did. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened to it. I did have it. I had all the stuff you were saying, the magnified glass. I had the light. I had everything, and I had a lot of games for it. I even had like a little, a little pouch for all my games, like a
Yeah.
little Game Boy pouch. And it's crazy. Like I had a lot of. I didn't have like hundreds of games, right? But I had a good amount of games to keep me busy. But I asked for this game almost every year for Christmas, and I never got it.
Wow.
And I got other games. I even put it on the top of the list. I don't know what it was. It's weird.
Maybe your mom couldn't find it. That's what it was.
maybe, because there was a
Like I
lot
said,
sold.
I didn't even ask for it, and I got it. So
That's
maybe
amazing.
that's what you shouldn't ask for it. Then you would have got
Yeah,
it.
that's probably what would have happened. Yeah, yeah. If I didn't ask for it, I probably would have got it for Christmas. But I mean, it's all
So,
good. I still
yeah,
had a good time with the Game Boy, despite it. I would love to have this game on it. It would have been great.
I mean, I still have my Game Boy. It's still in working condition.
Oh, nice.
I still have the magnifying glass, the battery pack, all that stuff. Uh, I pull it up. My dad still has his Game Boy.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah.
You should know 'cause your,
Yes, I
your
do.
kids your kids like to play with it. So.
Yes, I do know that.
But it was funny because he had more. I guess he had more of the mainstream Nintendo games,
Yeah.
like Game Boy games, and I had the ones that were like Fist of the North Star. There was some like I guess it would be like I want to say a Radiant Silver Gun or Gyrus type game that I got with it. Like I said, Faceball 2000. When I say that
Yeah.
that name, like
Baseball.
very few people know what I'm talking about. But I'm like, it's like I guess Doom, but
Yeah.
with smiley faces.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
So just like these weird games, like no one's playing, but I've got them, on the system. So like the Raging Fighter game, I was impressed with that game. I'm getting off topic, but I'm just saying, like, as a system, the Game Boy, I think in Nintendo's mind, it was we want this to be equal with the Nintendo.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think they pulled it off. And I think that's also why now the Switch is such a thing.
Yes.
They realized like handheld gaming was their greatest achievement, and I think it was the right choice. I think they understand their market.
And I agree with that. Like the Game Boy, it's funny because like the Game Gear came out, Sega had to have their portable system, and the Game Boy outsold the Game Gear, which is amazing to me. I couldn't believe when I read that. I was like, no way, because
Color it was like colored. It was really
yeah,
porting games from the Sega Genesis,
yeah,
but people were still preferring the black and white.
which is crazy to me. But I mean, I guess it makes sense because it also, I know the Game Gear required more batteries. Like I had to require like 6 batteries, whereas the Game Boy required 4. And I think since the Game Gear used color, it ate up battery power quicker. So that was kind of a huge turnoff.
My sister had a Game Gear, so.
Oh, okay. Yes.
You ever play it? I don't know. Like, I don't even know why she got it. That was the weird thing to me. I was like, you're not even like that much of a gamer, but I think it was like a Little Mermaid game on there she wanted. So
that's why she got the Game Gear.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Game Gear. Yeah, that's funny because if she wasn't a gamer, then yeah, that's a very expensive portable system if you're not going to play that many games on it. But yeah, the Game Gear, it's crazy. I had the Game Gear too, but I didn't play it nearly as much as the Game Boy. Like the Game Boy was just easier to lug around. The Game Gear was like huge, bulky.
Yeah.
Whereas the Game Boy was small, compact, and the games were. I thought the games were better.
They're just
than
like
the Game Boy.
Like they really did their best to make it a Nintendo console.
Yes.
I think that's why, like, so with Metroid 2, that's why it was so impressive, was it didn't skimp on the Nintendo experience.
Yes. Yeah, and that was the thing. Like it did not. You know, it was a really, I mean, like we said earlier, it's like it was the Metroid game.
Yeah.
In black and white. It was the same graphics and everything, but in black and white.
You're going, you like even down to, rolling into a ball.
Yeah.
Switching to missile, the jumping, like it's full Nintendo graphics.
Yeah.
On just a smaller screen. The world searching. So they didn't even skimp on how much you had to search, right?
Yes.
Normally, you would think, oh, it's a smaller game, it'd be less it'd be less time, right?
Yes.
Nope. It's the same amount of time, to go through, beat the game, the bosses, the enemies, they're all there, and it's just, again, small and in black and white, and it gave you the Metroid feel. Like it's just this was one of those games where you didn't miss putting it on the big screen. It felt like it also, that's the other thing I will say about the Game Boy, right?
Yeah.
Now I'll say this about not every game, because like Mortal Kombat on the Game Boy is not Mortal Kombat.
Oh no, that's just not a good.
Yeah, and it's not. It didn't.
Not a good port.
Yeah, but like I said, for most of the time, most of Nintendo's IP, like most of their games, it was one for one. Kirby on the Game Boy was great. Mario on the Game Boy was great.
Yes.
Yes. So they knew how to do it, and even as the Game Boy systems progress, it just got better. You just got color, you just got better graphics, but it still had that Nintendo feel. And that's the thing with Metroid 2, is you got the Metroid game. You were in a Metroid game, and it felt the same as being on the Nintendo system.
Yeah. There was no difference, and you can play it while you're at the doctor's office, which is amazing, especially for that time. I mean, this time, we kind of take it for granted, but back then, playing games portable was like amazing. Like we can play this anywhere. If you're at a boring adult party, just pull out your Game Boy and play. Right. So
driving 8 hours from where we used to live to come to my grandmother, like, pull it out, buy extra batteries. Oh my gosh, like yes. I just remember like coming up here, because we used to live down south, and so driving up here, and then we'd have to get like becoming a battery connoisseur, right? Don't buy these batteries, buy these other kind of batteries, they last longer. Put your batteries in the freezer if you want to get a little bit more juice out. It was a weird time, kids. It was a weird time. If you didn't have a battery pack, you were don't buy batteries from the dollar store. They only last like 10 minutes. like, and then you're like, why is the dollar store selling batteries that only last for like 10 minutes? Well, they're normally to go into your fire alarm. They're not really made for consumption.
Yeah.
So kind of like this, this weird world that comes with the portableness of your gaming environment, which is groundbreaking, right? Nintendo Game Boy is groundbreaking because, like you said, you can take this anywhere you go. You can pull it out at the grocery store for your kid. You can do it on long trips. You can do it in a doctor's office. So this is where the gaming world gets mobile, right?
Yes. Yeah, and that's the beauty of this game. You can play it anywhere. And the biggest issue I had at this game is an amazing game. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. The biggest issue I had was there was no map. So there was no map, no in-game map. And remember, I'm playing this now. If I played this back when it came out, it probably wouldn't bother me because I had more time to play. I can figure it out. But I played this in college, and this is after playing more advanced Metroid games where you have a map and you know where you left off and all that. And this has save points too, which is also very ahead of its time. Yeah. So that was my biggest issue, was there was no map. But I think that was because of when I played it, not it's just an age that featured an age well. But I guess I can understand why they didn't put a map, because it's a portable system. I would think it'd be hard to. You don't have much screen real estate.
Yeah, and we only have so much room too on the board, right?
Right.
So, but I think that's the other thing too. I don't know. Well, you have to tell me. Did the first Metroid have a map?
That's a good question. I don't think it did.
Okay, so yeah,
I do not think it had a map, because I never complained about Metroid. As far as like finding stuff, because remember, it's back in the day. So I got the Metroid game for Christmas. It was a game I played a lot. So there wasn't like a lot of games at that time, like competing for my attention. You remember, like, you only could buy a certain amount of games.
Yeah.
Your parents weren't like billionaires, right? So you couldn't get like a game. You got a game for maybe Christmas or your birthday, right? And that's the games you got. So you had time to play it and figure it out, because even Zelda, like, I love Zelda, and that doesn't really have an on-screen map either. And I played the heck out of that game.
Yeah, I think the dungeon games back in the day didn't really have that. I'm trying to think, like, even with like Legacy of the Wizard, like, you had to figure out where you were going. That was and then you had to remember. So that's the other thing, like you said, like, the innovation here was the save point, right?
Yes.
So you took off a couple days, a week, right? You go back to play the game, you're like, I don't even know where I'm at. Like, I hope what here you go. You go left or right. That's it. So figure out what direction.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, you're on your own.
Do these caves look familiar? I don't know. Like,
well, that was how. And then to answer your question, Metroid did not have a map. I had to look that up. Metroid did not have an in-place map. And to your point, no games back then had like in-place maps, because it's a lot to draw a map or develop a map, right? You have to it's a lot to it. So you're pretty much on your own, or if you could get Nintendo Power.
Yeah, that was gonna say, like, you were gonna have to have somebody else do it for you.
Yeah.
And be like, this is the area you're in. If you see A, B, C, X, Y, Z, or some landmark, you're like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, that was pretty much all you had was, and I think with Metroid, when I played it, I think I did use the Nintendo Power eventually, but with Zelda, I don't remember using a map at all. I just because the thing with Zelda was you go from, like you said, you go left, right, up, down, but then the screen repeats itself. So you don't know if you went too far, or you're not, are you close? And it kind of like rewards you for just doing stuff. So you
Yeah.
have to like, what if I burn this bush? What will happen? You just keep trying different things until it works. And the
Wow.
same with Metroid, it's the same thing. It's like it's not, it's just left and right, like you say. It's not up and down. Well, it is up and down. It's up and down too, because you're going down, you're going up and down different levels in that actual space station or the station that you're in.
Yeah.
So it is up and down, left, right, but you have to remember where you left off.
Remember, you gotta
That's
remember
the problem. Yes.
And you're like, I'm running through here, and that's the other thing, and that's where the music comes in, also, right?
Yeah.
So music is telling you this is a board that you've probably been in, Yeah. And then like some of the boards go so long that the music doesn't change, and you're like, okay, like so like in the beginning music goes for a while, then you do a drop down into where basically no music. It's just like little clicks and things like that.
Yes.
And so like,
yeah.
you're like, I don't know where I'm at, and that goes on for a while, and then you'll get to another board and it'll be dun dun dun, and then they'll start some other weird music. So being attuned to your surroundings and being attuned to the music was very important in playing this game, because that was really how you were building a map in your head.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're like you said, like every stage has their own music. So you're like, oh, okay, this is the music that has this weird type of music. Okay, I know where I'm at now. Okay, I know this place. So that was kind of like your map. And the amazing thing also about the game is it kept, and I think you mentioned this briefly, it kept Samus's like powers, like she can morph into a ball. They still kept that looked great. She can do her space jump, she can do her little plasma beam. It didn't have the doors, right? But that didn't really matter.
It had the doors, like you had to missile some of the doors.
I don't remember the doors. There were doors in the Game Boy game? I don't remember the doors. Okay. I didn't think they drew the doors. So, but yeah, they do have, she has all her powers still, which is amazing. It's really amazing.
And even when you like those Egyptian like statues that hold the different like things, they were in there.
Yes, they were there. Yeah.
So like, but that art, that's what I'm saying. It's just like you still have all the same art you have from Nintendo, which is just cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. It's really amazing. And like the character, and this is another thing I typically ask people. I know you didn't play NES, but the biggest thing for me playing the NES one, and this is kind of going into like the characters. So, or character, right? Because you're only playing as one character. But for when I first played the Nintendo one, I'm a I don't know, I was like maybe 9-10-year-old boy, and I'm thinking, okay, well, this person is a guy, it's a guy in a suit, and he's shooting aliens and stuff like that. But when you play it, and then when you beat the game, and this is for me, this is something memorable for me, because I remember playing it. I remember when I saw it for the first time, and I used to stay up all night and play games. Like there's times I stayed up all night, like especially in the summertime, and just played a game. And I remember it was like maybe 4 or 5 in the morning. I finally beat Metroid, and then they show the end scene, and then they show it's a girl. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's a female. I've been playing as a female this whole time. It wasn't a big deal to me. It was a big deal to me. Well, really was a big deal to me.
Yeah.
In a good thing, in a good sense, not a bad sense. Like it was like, oh my gosh, I was playing as a woman the whole time. because back in the day, most of the women characters had to be saved.
Yeah.
So seeing that, and of course, this is around the time I read something that said that the Alien movies were inspiration to the Metroid series. Ripley, right? She was the inspiration for Samus, which makes sense. But seeing that hair, that pixelated long hair at the end, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe. I know you got into it. You got into it with Game Boy, but did you at the time you played it, did you know that it was a female at that time?
I didn't know anything about it. Like I had the intro, that's another thing. Like I guess back in the day, like it was hard to get spoiled. Like spoilers, it was hard to get like spoilers and a lot of things because social media wasn't a thing, I guess, and people weren't trying to be the first to experience something and tell people about it. And I think a lot of people also just respected the fact that they wanted you to experience it for yourself, right?
Yes.
So for me, the first ending I got in Metroid was just so in my head, I didn't know, right? So in the end, during the credits, it's just him running, or Samus running. I'll put it that way.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then it stops, and then it says thank you for playing, blah blah blah. Well, in Metroid 2, the faster you beat it, the more clothes the more armor comes off in the end, right? So the first time I didn't know, like he was just still, Samus was still in the armor, right? Second time, helmet comes off, I see it's a woman, and I'm like, oh snap, like I've been playing it, like this is cool, right?
Yeah.
As I got quicker, more of the armor comes off, and the top of the armor comes off, and then she's like in just her bodysuit, again, but it's just the faster you play it, the more the armor comes off.
Yes.
And I think that was kind of like a wink at, like, one, if you know, and two, if you didn't play the first one, it was still a surprise for you. And actually, that I think was a good thing on their part, like a good choice on their part.
Yes.
Because also you were playing it, you were going to play it multiple times, and then all of a sudden you're realizing, like, wait, oh, like this person, because like I said, she's running in the end, the credits are rolling, and there's a point where she stops running, and then it's either, if you didn't do it in enough time, the Samus suit's just standing there. But if you did it faster, she would take off her helmet, and then, thank you for playing, blah, 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 So, yeah. And then I kind of want to even talk about, like, today, like, you see a lot of pushback for females in games, which is weird to me, because every one of these people who are pushing back grew up with females in their games.
Right? Exactly. Yeah.
So I don't understand where it's coming from. Like, again, Metroid Samus, Chun-Li, like, you can talk about, oh, there's not a lot of female leads, but they're been prevalent in a lot of different games. So I don't know why there's this push to, why call it woke when there's been females a part of games since their inception,
Yeah, there's been females, and females have come a long way, because females, especially now, like the Tomb Raider series, right?
Yeah.
Like Tomb Raider. Oh, go ahead.
No, and I like Tomb Raider, and even, like, you're playing, Final Fight or Streets of Rage, they all had female characters in there, like Street Fighter. So there are female characters are a part of gaming, and can take the lead role. Like, it's not a commentary on your masculinity. And I think that's the beautiful part about Metroid games in general
Yes.
was it fooled you. It fools you in a sense out of your masculinity, like you're playing this game, you're hunting down aliens, you're doing all these archaeological searches, you're doing very quote unquote male oriented things, right? But you're a woman and you're good at your job. If you beat the game, you're good at your job, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you're a woman.
Yep.
And so I don't think, it's just weird to me that there's this, pushback on this. Like there isn't enough games with males as the main protagonist. Like there's hundreds of them. And if you want to play a game with a guy, like you don't have to throw anything so far. You can just bump into it on the shelves and boom, there you go. Like, so having games with female leads, I think is a good thing. I think it's even in here Smash Bros, like people will tell you, like, I'll play Princess Peach, I'll play Samus, I'll play, I don't know. I've never played Smash Brothers in my life, so don't quote me on the characters. Again, I'm not a Nintendo person. So, but one of the first characters, like, Street Fighter, I love that game. It's one of the games that I hold in high esteem. The first person I learned how to use properly was Chun-Li, right?
Yeah, Chun-Li is awesome.
And just her fighting style is different, and I wanted to get good with her. And Streets of Rage, why do I pick Blaze? She's faster. She takes more damage, but she's faster.
She's quick. Right? Yeah.
And that's normally when you pick a female character, that's why you pick them. You're looking for someone with speed. You know? And normally that's what I want to play with. I want to play with somebody who's fast. I'll take the damage hit, but I can move quick. And so this idea that female characters don't have a place in gaming, it's just weird to me. Like, I'm like, why are you guys acting weird?
Yeah, I think it's that overmatch, because that is a problem. Like that's a problem in the fan base in general. Like this like toxic masculinity in the actual gamer space, which is horrible to see. Like, I'm not saying all gamers are like this, but there's that like toxic underbelly of like guys and they're gamer bros, I guess they call them, where they're just like, they don't know, no women are allowed. I'm like,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, these are the same people who've played these games. They've played them.
Yes, exactly.
So it's not like they're not playing these games.
Yes.
And I know, like, and I'll put this, like, if you're going to buy a game just to complain about it, like, you still paid them the money.
I don't understand that either.
So if you're really on your square, you wouldn't even pay for the game, but hey.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got a lot of issues with fandoms in general, but so seeing this female lead character, I said, I thought it was great. I was like, oh, like, I was really surprised. There was no one I could really talk to about this outside in my family, because, like, they're not, like I said, not many people had this game.
Right.
But at school, when I finally played it, and like everybody who played Metroid was like, yeah, duh. Like, well, I never played Metroid, so.
Yeah, you're like coming in late, so they're like, yeah, we already knew this like 2 years ago. Mars. Yeah.
So I was shocked, and I was like, I'll be honest, like, I thought there was going to be more Metroid games on the Game Boy.
Yeah.
Of course, later on the different Game Boy systems, like Metroid Zero, Metroid, I forget what the other one is, but still kind of the same concepts. I didn't get to play Metroid on the Super NES. Like I said, I didn't have one. I did play Metroid Prime. I did not like the first-person shooter aspect of it. I wanted the side-scrolling, Metroidvania thing. So,
you're talking about the one for the Nintendo 64?
the GameCube.
Oh, the GameCube one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That one's jarring because you're first person mode the whole time.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't
that's a hard one to get used
yeah, I
to.
didn't like that. I was like, I don't really like that. So when
Yeah.
Nintendo DS came out with their Metroid Zero, and then whatever the other one was, I was like, oh well, we're back.
Yeah.
Also, again, it was a handheld system, so Nintendo knows their bread and butter. They're like, we are a handheld. Like now, we're a handheld company, right? I still wish they kind of pushed the lever with VR. You remember their VR system?
A Virtual Boy?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah, it was just that. Oh man, we should do a show on that. But yeah, that one. That I knew one person that had that, and yeah, I mean, I think they're just it was the technology just wasn't there yet.
They
Like I
were
think we were
too
too
ahead,
early. Yeah,
but
they're too.
it worked, but
Mm,
it was too early.
yeah.
Like they should have waited. Like now, with the Steam and Meta, they're doing what what Nintendo wanted to do.
Yes.
Um, but they were ahead of their time, like way ahead of their time.
Yeah,
With
it was like I mean when they first advertised Virtual Boy, I was like, "Oh my gosh, they're doing a virtual machine." And I was wondering how they were going to do that because this is like how was it the 90s that came out?
it was in the
So,
90s.
yeah, it was in the
Like,
90s.
yeah, it was
And
like right after Game Boy. This was their next system, and it was like it was all red.
yeah,
They
which
were
was
like,
bad.
yeah, but it's like there was a reason for that. We'll have to, if we do a show on it, I'll have to look up. There's a reason why it was red.
Yeah, I think there was. I mean,
Yeah,
I like played I had one friend that had it and I was all excited because he's like, "Yeah, I got this. I got Virtual Boy." And I was like, "Really?" And then so I went over there and I couldn't like I got a headache
yeah,
because you can't play a game like you can't play it for a long time. That
no,
was one of the biggest complaints about it. Like if you played like say Metroid, like I don't think they had Metroid on Virtual Boy, but if you did have Metroid on Virtual Boy, you'll probably have like an agonizing like migraine
yeah,
because you're
and
playing it.
it's that whatever the red light, but there was a
The
reason they
red
had
light, yeah.
light for it. And I think it's a pixel reason. Um, but yeah, but this is a Nintendo innovator. So I mean, remember the Power Glove? Remember the
Yes.
scope? What was the scope thing called? The gun, even
The
for
gun
the
they have for Duck Hunt.
yeah. And then they had another one, it looked like a bazooka.
Oh yeah, the scope for the Super Nintendo. Yeah, they had the
Yeah,
scope.
yeah,
Yeah, for the Super Nintendo. Yeah, I
yeah.
never got that.
The Power Glove, I remember watching the Wizard and him having the Power Glove, the main character in the movie having the Power Glove.
Well, I'll tell you
And
this: the Power Glove is not great. And this is not me like because I know Angry Video Game Nerd. He covered it, but I actually experienced the Power Glove, and like you just mentioned, the Wizard movie
yeah,
where the Power Glove's so bad, right? And
yeah.
he was like advertisement. But I actually tried the Power Glove, and I was done. I couldn't do it. I went back to the controller because it's a good. I guess it looked nice,
Yeah.
but it just in practice it wasn't great. That was just my experience.
I feel so like it is weird because it felt like Nintendo, again with the Game Boy, they were trying to do so many different things.
Yes.
And that's really what I appreciate about them is they were going to do everything they could to ride this video game thing
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
the sunset.
Yes.
And they were doing everything from peripherals to new systems. Because here's the thing, right?
Oh, the Wii, yeah.
The Game Boy Advance, Game Boy, in Nintendo DS, Game Boy, what was the 3D one? The I guess 3D Game Boy or Advanced Game Boy 3D,
I think it
whatever
was
it's
just
called.
Game Boy Advance. Oh, they had Nintendo DS Advance. Is that what you?
Yeah, the Nintendo DS Advance.
Yeah, Advance.
So they understood, like, once I think everybody was like, I just want a handheld system. And they were like, just do your Nintendo games on the handheld systems. Like they were like, all right, we got it. And that's why you have the Switch and the Switch 2. Like think about how they came from. They were trying to be on the big system market with Sony and Sega and Xbox. And I mean, I have a GameCube. I have a GameCube, but I really only got it because of Beautiful Joe and Soul Calibur 4 and Ultimate Muscle. But they weren't like, I think everybody, by the time the GameCube came out, like they were still selling the handhelds more than they were selling their actual like stationary systems.
Yeah, they were doing. I mean, they were doing really good. Like they had
Yeah.
their Nintendo DS. The Nintendo DS was probably one of their biggest selling devices.
I
Well,
still have,
we trumped that. Like when
yeah,
we came out, it like
yeah.
totally trumped that.
I still have my Game Boy. I still have my Game Boy Advance. I still have my Game Boy Nintendo DS. Like, because they were so good.
They were, yeah.
Like it's not like it was just because it was good. And like that's what, the takeaway for me with Metroid 2 was or is that it was just good. It was Nintendo and it didn't skimp on the gameplay in a handheld version. And I think that when they just continue that kind of mantra, like the handheld is going to be just as good as the main system. And I'll be honest with you, like the Nintendo Switch is basically, you could, like, I have it where I have like the dock and I can hook it to like my TV. Like, I don't ever take it, like, I'm not mobile with my Switch like a lot of people are, but the fact that I could be, like, I might do it.
Yeah.
Like, and the games are still good,
Yeah. And they have the Metroid. They have the Metroid Dread series.
Yeah, the new Zelda games on there.
Yeah.
They're comparable with all the other systems and a lot of stuff they get. Like, so I think Nintendo has, like, they found their bread and butter with the handheld market.
Well, they kind of had to, like, because everything is now becoming portable.
Yeah.
I mean, even PlayStation's. Well, they tried their PlayStation Portable. I don't know how successful it is, but
the PSP.
No, not the PSP. They have the new one.
The one with
PlayStation.
like the little screen, like the pop-up screen one.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, but PSP, like the PSP was successful, right?
Yeah,
the PSP was amazing.
But I still think Nintendo was a better handheld. Like I feel
yes.
Nintendo just did handhelds better.
They've been in the game longer, so they
have
more experience.
They had it because with the PSP, you're getting a smaller the UMD disc.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Yeah, and that was the beauty of it. Like the Nintendo used like cartridges.
That's the other thing. They kept that going.
Yeah, they did.
And it's because it is faster, right? Because even with UMD disc, you had to load. There was a loading time, right?
Yes.
You had quote unquote more in-depth graphics, but I mean the trade-off was the time, and like Nintendo was like, we can still do Nintendo graphics, 16, 32, 128 bit graphics on these little systems, and do it as a card.
Yeah, they use SD cards now for the Switch.
Yeah.
which is
You're playing Super Mario Galaxy, which looks like it should be on a giant system. No, it's on a handheld.
yeah, yeah. And I think that's what's amazing about it, because Nintendo at one point, like with the Wii, was popular, but then it kind of like alienated gamers as far as the console market.
Yeah.
I mean, they still had DS, and that's what kind of kept them alive. I think that the DS, the portable DS, really, I think, kept them alive.
It was their weird thing of not doing quote unquote violent games.
Yeah.
Or adult games. And I mean, technically they know their audience, right? It's kind of like Disney, right?
Yes. Yeah, they're like, yeah, the Disney. They're Disney of video games.
Yeah, you go to Disney, this is really a kids park, but adults can have fun here, right?
Yes.
If you like it, like I love Kirby, I'm gonna get a Kirby game, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
And I'm an adult. And
yes.
I think that's what their thing was like, if you truly like the game or whatever game it is, you're gonna buy the system to play it.
Yes.
And they're right. They were right,
Yeah. It's a they knew. I think they wanted to take like with the Wii, they were trying to take a risk. They took a risk because they wanted to see if they can get non-gamers playing video games.
Yeah.
I think that was what they were trying. And they were kind of successful at that, but they're non-gamers. So non-gamers are not going to play as much as a gamer. Like they'll play for a little bit, they like the novelty, but then the novelty will wear off. And then eventually they're going to lose that market. So I think with the Switch, they move back to the gamer, because like a lot of the games, like we're talking about Metroid, right? So the Metroid Dread, it just came back. It brought a lot of the games that gamers liked, and they focus more on, okay, we're going to keep it simple. We're not going to do the whole Wiimote and all that stuff, right? Because that was also another issue, but I don't want to get into that in this episode.
So I mean, Metro, I think again, for them having the handheld market, they got it. And for me, my first entry into the handheld market was a Game Boy and Metroid 2. And I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I love playing that game. I love getting to the end and, almost beating it, finally beating it, and then just it was going back through it again. Even to this day, like I'll play that game. It still takes me a while to beat it, because like I won't play it for a while and I'll get like, where am I? Right? But I feel like Metroid 2 was a great one. It was a great successor to Metroid 1, and it was a great it was just a great game to show the ability of the Game Boy.
Yeah, it was a really good game, and that's kind of, as you mentioned too, it's a sequel to the original game. So this kind of brings me into the story. So like the story of the game. So it's Sam, of course. She's the best. So she is part of the elite special forces, and she is sent to this Metroid homeworld, SR 388, to eliminate threats. Right. So she's there for a solo mission, right? Because you're playing as her the whole time. And she, typical Metroid fashion, she drops into this planet, or more like a space station, but like she's on a different planet, and she's by herself. She has to destroy the Queen Metroid, and the first Metroid, it was Mother Brain. So she had to take out Mother Brain. So at the end, and you mentioned the end, so like she destroys the Queen Metroid, And as she's walking back to her ship, and this is also shown in other games where she walks back to her ship, and then this baby Metroid
is like following her around.
Yeah, it thinks it's like it follows her like because it's a mother, like it wants a mom, and it thinks Samus is its mother.
Yeah.
So it kind of like goes from there. It's a small story because it's the Game Boy, right? So it's not intense, but it does set the stage for future games. And she, it kind of like a to be continued. Like now this thing is latching on to Samus.
Yeah.
She's like a mother figure. So I have to ask you, what are your thoughts on because you said the ending was amazing, and what were your thoughts like, or when you were playing the game, did you use a walkthrough? Like what was your experience with the story of the game?
All right. So I'm going to deviate first. So you talk about Mother Brain, right?
Yes.
My only experience with Mother Brain was Captain N.
Yes.
And that version, and I'm like, I don't understand what this is.
Yes.
But I just knew, like, because it was like Mega Man. It had Simon Belmont. It had
he's mega happy.
Yeah. Mother Brain, and then of course you're Captain N, the game master, right? You're thrown into the world. So I knew that was from Metroid, but I didn't know where that actually fit in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just gonna. That's my experience of the quote unquote first Metroid final boss was Captain N. So I was like, wow, this looks really cheesy for a villain, right?
Yeah.
And the enemy. All right. So in playing the story again, I have no idea what's going on. They give you the readout. You're going to this planet. This is Metroid Homeworld, and I'm running around, right? I don't know, because here's the other thing, right? Back then, you used to get like the little books in the Game Boy box that told you a little bit of the backstory, right?
Yes.
I read that. I also read how to do whatever I needed to do, like move wise.
Yeah.
But as you're going through the game, you're not getting big chunks of story. You're running into things. Like I said, you're almost kind of just like an explorer on this world, and you're finding these different things that are like weird. So, like I said, those giant bird things that are always holding stuff. Like I'm like, what is this? Like, what is this from? Like, where are we going with this? Right?
Yeah.
Then you're beating as you're going through. You're also fighting mini bosses and the occasional big boss, right? So I know that there's at some point I'm gonna fight a giant something, but I don't know what it is. So that to me, that's my experience of the story. Was I didn't really know what was going on until after people telling me about Metroid 1, and I'm like, oh, okay. And this is the planet you're on. And the book, I think the book told you basically that little blurb was what you're gonna do. It didn't tell you who we're gonna fight at the end. But so for me, the story was not as, I'll say, clear.
Yeah, that makes sense, because when you play Metroid 2 and Metroid, there's no like dialogue box, right? There's no like, this is what I gotta do.
Yeah, you're in there.
Yeah.
You're run across things, but they're not pointing you to a story. I don't even think you get a story till Metroid Super Nintendo.
Yeah, like, you don't get any like cutscene or anything.
Yeah, I think that's the first Metroid where you get a cohesive story.
Yes.
Yeah. So for me, it was more of, all right, I'm this person. I didn't know, I'm Samus and I'm exploring this world. I'm trying to get off this rock. And in my head, I was like, I'm trying to get off this rock, right?
Yes.
And so they're just leading you deeper and deeper into the planet. And then you're running across, Grandma Metroid,
Yeah, you go into Queen Metroid. So Mother Brain was an AI that
Right.
was you had to destroy. And she's kind of like the main villain for most of the Metroid series, Mother Brain.
Mm-hmm.
So and then there's another character that's also AI, and she always he always calls Samus lady. Now I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you saw that, right? So
Yeah.
you have him as well. He's not, of course, he's not as popular as unless you're like really into the lore, about him, but he's also there. But yeah, you're right. Like the Super NES goes into it, but I think the other story was in the instruction manual, or
Yeah.
like if you read it on Nintendo Power, or if there was because they also had comics too for
Yeah.
Metroid, so you can get the story there too, or Captain N,
Captain,
which is
you
loosely
can get,
based off of it.
yeah, I was gonna say you get a loosely translated story. It's not even really, you're just like, is this the Metroid story? Is
Yeah,
this like, why is Simon Belmont dressed in like ski gear? I don't know.
I didn't like. We got to do an episode on that one too, but yeah, Simon Belmont. I didn't like the way he was portrayed in that show because he was portrayed as like this cocky. I don't know. I just didn't like the way he was portrayed. I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
see him like that.
that's another thing, right? Nintendo was so huge. They had multiple TV shows,
Yes.
serial, like it was a cultural phenomenon. Like
Yes.
what was that game show? Nick Arcade.
Yes. I remember that.
So Nintendo was a very like big part of cultural society back in the late 80s, early 90s. And Zelda had its own TV show. Captain N was another TV show. Nick Arcade was just playing Nintendo games because that was like think of it as a spiritual successor of the Wizard movie.
Yes.
Like Nintendo had a magazine, it had a cereal. Nintendo, it's for breakfast now. See,
Oh my gosh, I remember that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Watches, like you think Mario is big now, he was even bigger back then. It was crazy.
Yeah, he was. It's crazy because I have a picture of me in fourth grade. You did the school pictures, and I'm wearing a Mario. I'm wearing a Mario sweatshirt. Has Mario Brothers on it. So yeah, he was huge.
Like they had a live action Super Mario TV show with a wrestler, Lou. Oh gosh, what's it? Isn't it
Albano?
Yeah. Yep, exactly. He was Super Mario. They would do commercials with those characters about staying in school, stay away from drugs. Like it was crazy. Like Nintendo was a cultural phenomenon, and like the Game Boy. Like I'm gonna pivot here. The Game Boy was just another part of that phenomena.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they were so big that when your parents referred to video games or people that weren't into gaming, they called everything Nintendo.
Everything's Nintendo. Everything.
You get that Nintendo game, yeah. Like even Sega Genesis, like you're a Sega kid, right? But everything was Nintendo back then.
It didn't matter. It was Nintendo, and you're like, it's not Nintendo. It's not Nintendo.
Yeah, it's not Nintendo, right? So it was huge, and I would say Metroid is like their big three of their IPs. Like you have Mario, Zelda, and Metroid. Like that's their biggest IPs is those three.
You know what's crazy though? Because one of the first games wasn't Metroid; it was Abadox, right?
Oh yeah, Abadox. I remember that game.
Like I remember all the commercials. Like you could tell me, like
they played them all the time. You should remember all of them.
That's the other thing. It was like they're playing commercials all the time.
Yes.
You're just watching kids shows. It's just a bunch of Nintendo commercials. But yeah, Abadox was the first one. Mike Tyson Punch Out, which just became Punch Out.
Oh yes.
But yeah, so it was a cultural phenomenon, and everything was Nintendo, or they tried to spin somehow Nintendo onto it. So Game Boy, the Game Boy itself was such a groundbreaking technology. Like now you can carry your gaming wherever you go, and it was a wrap. I feel like Nintendo, they figured it out, before anybody else did. Now you see, so to bring it forward, right? One of the biggest things I'm seeing now is people making their kind of home, I guess I would call it homebrew handhelds.
Yes.
That are basically like emulator handhelds, but it's like Amberneck. There's a bunch of different companies that build these things. Yeah. But that is again the tradition. That's in the vein of Nintendo, right? I want to be able to play, like, my phone, your phone can play PlayStation games on. Like that's how powerful the machine in your pocket is, right?
Yeah, that's amazing to me. Yeah.
Like little kid me playing my Game Boy dreamed of a world that I have now, that I could play all the games I ever wanted to play. It's in my pocket right now.
Yes.
Yes. And that's where you see a lot of this homebrew handheld. It's, I want to build a system that I can play any game that I want to play in my pocket. And the Game Boy is the reason for that.
Yeah. Yeah. The Game Boy was, I think it was I'm trying to think if there was anything before the Game Boy.
I mean, Tiger Direct. Remember all those Tiger?
Yeah, I don't want to. I mean, I guess you're right. I mean, they are.
You want to block it out?
That great,
but
you block it out. Yeah,
and they had every game. Tiger Direct had every game. Double Dragon, Batman. I mean, my dad had Batman, Double Dragon, Sonic the Hedgehog, quote unquote. Like it was. Yeah, Tiger Direct was right there.
Well, I'll tell you about Tiger Direct. Tiger Direct was actually good for school. Like when you brought it to school, like you could put the volume down and play it. It's just one of those things. Like you wouldn't want to bring your Game Boy because the Game Boy was expensive. Like I know my mom never let me bring my Game Boy to school. Right? I was like, I want to bring my Game Boy to school. No, it's too expensive. Okay, can I bring my Tiger game? Sure. They were like what? $15, $20. They were cheap.
Oh my gosh, they were so cheap.
Yeah.
And like we would all bring ours and like trade them off.
Yes.
Like and play
like games, like cartridges.
Yeah. So I mean they were there too. So
I don't know if they were before Game Boy. They might have been. They might have been.
It was probably the same time.
Yeah.
Because it was one of those, like, you can't afford a Game Boy, you get your Tiger Direct.
Yeah. That's true. You could get the Tiger. You could get a Game Boy, that you could get the Tiger Direct. Yeah. We'll play your one game and that's it.
One game and your one stage.
Yeah.
Or my dad also would have these weird, I don't know what they were. They were handhelds, but it would be like Pac-Man or Frogger, and it's like I want to be like 2-bit, not even like 8-bit graphics, like 2-bit graphics. Like,
yeah, I remember those. Oh my gosh.
He would have those, and it would have like those old games on it, like it'd be like I said, Frogger or Centipede, and you're just like
Atari stuff.
Yeah.
So, that was the thing. Those were pretty.
So maybe I would say Nintendo did the first great handheld game system.
Yes.
We've always had like these weird handheld ones, but Nintendo was like, no, we can do this and we can do it better, and they did.
I mean, like I said earlier in the show, they had their Game Boy was better than Game Gear. Like it was, people were playing that. I mean, Game Gear had good games too, but Game Boy just people just loved the Game Boy
You
because
know what it was
it was
though with
easier to
Game
lug
Boy?
around.
Yeah, you know what it was with Game Gear though? It wasn't a straight one for one, right?
Right.
It was almost like a different game. Like whereas Nintendo, what you were playing on the Nintendo, you were playing that on your Game Boy.
Yes. Yep.
So
Yeah. I mean, Game Gear had the Sonic games, but
yeah,
it
they didn't.
wasn't the same. Yeah, I can see what you're saying there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a good time for Nintendo. I mean, Nintendo's still, Nintendo made
yeah,
a huge comeback. They're still dominating
they
almost.
still look like I
Yeah.
said. The Switch, even the fact that it costs more than it really should,
Yes.
it's still a hole in the market.
Yeah.
Because people like to carry, like I said, like there's this new renaissance of being able to carry the games around with you
Yes.
when you go to work, when you're going to school, when you're, like you said, you're in the doctor's office. Look, like I said, my phone is an emulation machine.
Yep. Yep. And
Um,
that's go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and that's and that was another reason why Metroid 2 sold so well, right?
Mhm.
And this is kind of getting into reception and legacy. So like, and we talked about this earlier. I never could get it for Christmas.
Yeah,
And it sold like millions of copies worldwide. Like it was huge. But as you were saying, the Game Boy was already popular, right?
Mhm.
Metroid was popular. So of course people are going to buy Metroid or ask their parents to get a Metroid 2 for the
yeah.
Game Boy, right?
Except I didn't ask; it just showed up.
You just got it. I don't know how you got it without asking. That's pretty cool. It's pretty impressive. Um, but yeah, it was, it was heavily, it was heavily praised. Like Nintendo Power, I think gave it like 9 out of 10 or
Mhm.
like 5 stars. Game Pro gave it like well, not Game Pro, but they pretty much gave it high ratings, right? They gave
Yeah,
it like high ratings, glowing ratings, and pretty much they said the same thing that we're saying. Like the sprite work is good, the music is good, the gameplay is good. It's the same game you're playing that you play
yeah,
on the NES. The bosses, like you mentioned, the bosses,
yeah.
like look even more like for a Game Boy game, like there were
For Game
huge
Boy, yeah.
sprites.
I was like,
Yeah,
oh, okay, like this guy's taking up the whole screen, like,
yeah, yeah.
and
And a
no
Game Boy game.
down.
Yes. Yeah, it was amazing how they did that. So it was an amazing game. And it as we were talking about earlier, like it spawned it spawned a whole genre, like Metroidvania, like
Hmm.
it's a whole new genre. Because this is the like one of the first games that you had a map. I mean, not the first game that had a map, but it was the first game that kind of you were like in a labyrinth type of
Yeah.
world.
Running on. So you look at like Hollow Knight today, or
Oh
like,
yeah, Hollow Knight. Yep.
like, so a lot of these games are built on this kind of like you said, genre.
Yes.
So, and they're good, like
Yeah.
because it's just a good type of game, that a lot of people like to play. I'm one of them. Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like you mentioned Hollow Knight. Like Hollow
yeah,
Knight is a hard game, but it's a good game as far as like knowing where
Castle.
to go. Castlevania. Yep. Go ahead. Yep.
Um, let me go through because there's this what is this called? It's like a recent one too, where it's gonna bug me. I have so many games that I need to play. This is another side topic we should talk about. Is like how many games do we have to play? Like
Backlog. It's called
yeah,
backlog.
yeah,
Yeah.
that we're not playing yet. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um and there's just so many.
There's a
It
lot.
was just-
Even there's a new Hollow Knight game, right? There's a
yeah,
new Hollow Knight game. A
yep,
female protagonist. She's a
yeah,
female protagonist.
yep. So
So keeps
it's
coming.
just it's just a it's a good it's a good um good good kind of game to build on, the structure.
Yeah.
And people like to play that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I did, like I told you, this was one of those games that I played multiple times, and I got better and better, which made me faster and faster,
Of course. Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
So it was just really cool to like I never played the first one. So to me it was like, oh, I'm a spaceman, I'm exploring another planet. My ship looks cool because I didn't even know what the ship looked like
Oh
until
yeah.
like I see it on you appear at the top of it. I'm like, oh, even the ship looks cool. And then in my head I was like, oh, maybe we'll like explore other worlds or something
Yeah.
but no, we didn't. It was just you're stuck on this planet, you got to get off of it. So it's just
Well, for
but
Game Boy, yeah, they would have
yeah,
it'd be too much to develop. Yeah, but that makes sense. But yeah.
I'm like in my head, maybe I'm thinking like, maybe they'll do a Metroid, but it'll be like No Man's Sky, right? Where you have to like fly
Yeah.
out through all these other planets and like fight the bugs or find stuff and like go from planet to planet, system to system.
Oh, that would be nice.
I probably should copyright that before,
Yeah. Yeah, you should try to get that one out to the market.
Dead Cells. That was the game I was thinking of. Again,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
That was like Castlevania like too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's
Yeah.
that thing built on that. You're in a labyrinth. You got to figure out where you need to go. So,
And I think I think people like that. They like that type of exploration where you're not bounded by levels, right? You can just
yeah,
go wherever you want. And that's kind of like an open world type of thing.
yeah,
Like you can find secrets, you can just go wherever you want. And I think people like that. They like that freedom they get.
yep,
And I think that's why open world games and Metroidvania type of games are popular, is because some people they like to explore. They like to see more than just, they don't like being constrained within
yeah,
a level. Like in Mario, I mean, and that's the thing with Nintendo. Nintendo is an innovator. Like platformer games, like it set the bar for platformer game. Mario set the bar for platformer games.
yep,
Metroid set the bar for these type of games. And then you have Zelda, who kind of set the bar for like action RPG games,
yep,
because Zelda again is amazing game, but it's also action RPG, like we see in a lot of games like Dark Souls today, and there's a whole
mhm.
bunch of action RPG games out there.
And even now with the more like the increased mechanics and like the newer Zeldas, right? So
Yeah,
it's just I appreciate Nintendo's innovation, like willing to innovate, willing to try new
yes,
different things,
yes,
you know. And they have been they have definitely benefited from doing that.
yeah, yeah. They really have. And I would love if they came out with if they came out with the virtual reality thing later, I think they would have been more successful. But I think they kind of overshot
Yeah,
when that came out.
I just think they were like, we can do it, and they were like, the technology was just like, no, you can't.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
they were there. They tried. I give it to them. They tried.
they did, they
It was
did,
like technology was just like, nah.
and that's what I like about Nintendo. They'll try things and fail, but at least they're trying something,
Yeah.
right? Which I think, like the Wii, like I thought that was very innovative, because the Wii, like even like the Zelda game for the Wii, like
Yeah.
you can move his sword, and there was a GameCube game. I think it was Twilight Princess. It was a GameCube game, but they made it into they ported it to Wii, and now you can, when you move your Wiimote, you can move his sword and all that.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool.
the Mickey's paint game, like
Oh
the
yeah, Mickey's Paint.
paint
Yeah,
game where you're like painting,
yeah,
the dancing games, like you were here, like we played the Michael Jackson one,
yeah,
the dancing, and even like
yeah,
Wii Sports, like that's again ahead of its time, right?
yeah.
Now I guess people want to have like, I think in the future we will have something like Wii Sports, like in a gym.
Yes.
Um, that's probably coming in the future, but I mean, that's what it's going to be. Like, I won't say it's based off of Wii Sports, but they tried it first.
Yeah. Oh, and it's funny you said that because the Wii is still popular. They still have it in retirement homes. Like you'll
Yeah,
still have the Wii for older people to play because older people love the bowling and they love the tennis. Like they love those type of games.
yeah,
So Wii Sports probably the most successful game on that system because it brought the non-gamers in,
yep,
you
yep.
know, and that's what made the Wii so successful. But I just think, as I mentioned earlier, like the the Wii brought the non-gamers in, but they're called casual gamers for a reason, right? They don't play it like we do, like me and you. Like they don't, or gamers in general, like they don't play games every day. They play it maybe once a month or for a special occasion, and that's it.
I don't know. I might be becoming a casual gamer.
Oh, really?
I feel like it's not really that. It's really I'm like, so I just started Star Wars Outlaws,
Oh, that's a good game.
kind of
Yes.
buggy. So I'm like, do I work past these bugs or do I like, just shelve it till they fix them? Like,
Yeah.
So I don't know what kind of gamer is that. I don't know.
That is a gamer that will wait for the bugs to be
Yeah,
fixed.
I definitely want the bugs to be fixed. I will wait till the bugs are fixed. I will play your game like 2 years later and be like, oh, it's finally good. So
Yes, that's like the game Cyberpunk, right?
yeah.
It's famous for all the bugs that it had when it first
Oh
came
yeah, I
out.
waited 2 years. I had the game for 2 years
Yes, yeah,
before I played it. Once I talked to one of my friends and he was like, they finally fixed everything. And I was like, all right, I'll just update it and I will play it. And I started playing it. It was good.
yeah, when the bugs were worked out and tweaked, it was a good game. Um, and that's the thing. Like that's the beauty of today. You bring this up, the bugs,
Mhm.
right? Like I would say, like gamers today, I would say maybe we're more impatient, or no, I would say we're more we take it for granted because like back in the day, like when you had a bad game,
It
there
was
was no bug fix.
yeah.
It was bad. Like LGN is a great example of a company that made horrible games, rushed them out to the market, got your
Yeah.
money, and then and then ran.
You definitely had to do like a remaster or a part two
Yes.
for you to even like get a better version of the game. Um yeah, I think we're spoiled in that sense.
Yes.
Um that we can get updates like this and like 2 months, 3 months, you'll get a good update that'll put the game where it needs to be. And these kids, they don't understand. Like, no, we would get broken games, and they were just there was no fixing them. That was it. That's how you play the game.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was kind of like when you talked about X-Men and the you have to hit the reset button for the game to continue. Like that would be a bug.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
hit the reset button,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
or find the code on the box that I bought that I probably threw away. to correlate it with whatever the code to put in on a game that I'm like, why would they have the code on a box? Like, this is a terrible bug
Well,
that I
go ahead.
so that they knew I was going to throw away. So, but yeah, I think we're spoiled today that we can fix games in a month, 2 months. It'll get up and running. We'll be like, yeah, it's a lot better than it was.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, the patching. I would say back then, like you mentioned, the patching for us back then was the cheats. So like if we had like Game Genie, was I love when I got Game Genie, I was like, oh my gosh.
So
that was like a patch for us, Game Genie.
I never had those. I never had the Game Genie or whatever.
Okay.
So I was muscling straight through. And I was doing the Souls version of, you just got to muscle through this game if you want to beat it.
Yeah.
Or somebody who has beaten the game, because a lot of games have like in-game codes, like Mega Man, or actually you could pick any game you want back in Nintendo. They would give you like, oh, you beat the stage, here's the code. Like, so you can start again if you have So you have to find somebody who actually beat the game or beat the stage that you're on to give you that code to get past it, and that's how I did Legacy of the Wizard, because I was like at my wit's end, and I remember this guy. I just happened to be like, I don't even know how we got on the subject of Legacy of the Wizard, but I had told him, I was like, yeah, I'm trying to beat this game and I have no idea. He was like, don't worry, here are the codes, here's the crowns. I was like, and I beat the game. So that's how I beat Legacy of the Wizard. So it wasn't through Game Genie. It was like somebody they had beaten it and gave me the codes.
Oh yeah, because that was when you had no internet, you only had your classmates.
Yeah, the only people to tell you.
It. Yeah.
Hopefully somebody beat it. Hopefully somebody got past where you were to tell you how to do it.
Yeah, that's funny because it was when I was a kid, it was usually the older kids that beat it.
Yeah,
like if it was the older kid and he got past the level I couldn't beat, he was like, oh, here you go, kid. Just he would write down the code and put in like a piece of paper or something, like, or a napkin or something. Here's the code to get to this. Like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to try it. Yeah.
Yep.
That was just different time back then.
And at a lunchtime, we'd all be breaking out our magazines, passing them around, copying down the different codes for the different games that we're playing.
Yep.
So,
yeah, I like I said, like we take a lot of things for granted with the internet. Like we can complain about games and developers actually listen. Like back then, you complained into like a vacuum. You complained to your friends, but nothing really changed, right? So they got your money. But nowadays you can go on social media, you can go on YouTube. You have influencers on YouTube. They can crap on a game, and then it can ruin the reputation of the game. I think that's kind of what happened with Cyberpunk. Like everybody was ragging on Cyberpunk and how buggy it was, and it almost like hogtied the developers to fix the game, to make it work.
I feel bad though, because I think too we lose out on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That right. So here's the thing, just my personal opinion, right?
Yeah.
The goal is to get all kinds of games, right?
Yes.
Then you should be welcoming to the fact that, or you should have the understanding that you're not going to find a gem in everything, right?
Yes.
And everything is not going to be for you, right? I like, for instance, you like RPGs. I'm always going to rate an RPG low because I just don't like them, right?
Right.
And so I don't play them. That's the other. It's like, but I have the option, the free will. Like, I'm not gonna buy an RPG, right?
Right.
I'm just not gonna do it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So what would make sense for me to tell you like about this particular RPG when I don't really like them?
Right.
So I'm not even a person to tell you like what's a good what's good about this game, what's bad about this game. My view is already skewed. I don't like these games. Like, so I don't play RPGs, you know. I'm currently downloading the latest Resident Evil Requiem, right? I like Resident Evil games. I like the way they are. I liked it even when they went to 4 and they went to basically an action game. It was stop being Resident Evil where you're running from zombies to straight action where you're just mowing down.
Yeah, it changed. Yeah, it changes the whole thing.
Yeah, it didn't bother me, you know,
Yeah.
because I was like, this is what I wanted in the first place. Like, you know? So I feel like we lose out when we're so hypercritical for game. Like we should be. It's not, and I'm not saying like, you know, there aren't bad games because there definitely are.
Oh yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
but I think that and this is where we get into like fandom discussions, right? I feel like if you are truly a fan, you know how to be like, this wasn't my cup of tea, but I know it would be for someone else. So, for instance, Earthbound, not my cup of tea. You love that game.
Yep.
I am happy that you love it. I'm actually happy that you got something out of that game because we even talked about how it had a sort of special meaning for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that video games as a medium reach certain people. And I think we lose that in a lot of sense when we talk negatively about stuff is like, no, this is a medium that should be, it should be able to reach all kinds of people. And yeah, that game's not for me. I should be able to say that and not like just poo-poo all over it and be like, nah, it's terrible. It's the worst thing I ever played. No, I don't like RPG games. They're never going to be good in my sight. And so I'm never going to put myself in a position to play one, you know?
Well, that's true. Right?
Yeah.
That's
I know that bias and I should be upfront too with my bias. I feel like a lot of times people aren't even upfront with their bias. Like just be like, again, just from the RPG perspective, I'm going to be upfront. It's not my thing, you know? And when I play them with that bias and I'll get through it, but I'm not going to give it a glaring review.
Well, yeah, it's the same with like, you know, we did Dragon Force, right? So
Yeah.
that's not my, like, I'm not really into strategy type of games. Like I like sim games, which are kind of close to strategy, but I'm not like into those games. And I'm glad that you love the game. That's great. You know, that's awesome that you love it. I wouldn't even say Dragon Force is a bad game. I just think it's not a game for me, but it doesn't mean it's a bad game, right? And that's how, your criticism of it. It's not biased. You shouldn't be biased. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't for me, you know, but I know people who like that game. It's just not me. You know?
Exactly.
And I'm okay, you know?
Yeah.
And so I feel like we're talking like, you know, and this we'll start wrapping it up with our last thoughts on this game, right?
Yes.
Metroid 2 was one of the first games that I got for Game Boy. And I loved it, you know, and these type of games I love. And so there's a bias there, just a natural bias. It was on Game Boy. It didn't have color. It's old technology, and I still play it today.
But I would also say like for Metroid, like games like Metroid, Mario, and Zelda. Now there's no game that like everybody's gonna like. But I think from a majority, I would think a good 80-90% of the people would like, from all different genres, like all different genres would like Metroid, Mario, Zelda, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, I wouldn't say 100%. There's no 100%, but I would say like like you and me love Metroid, right? Metroid is a game that brings gamers together from different genres, right? They're like, I don't, like even new gamers. Like my son, he's like, Dad, can I play Metroid Dread? I want to play Metroid Dread. I love it, right? And it's Metroid Dread. He loves it, right?
Yeah.
So it is kind of has a universal appeal to it.
It's a foundational game too.
It's a
right?
foundational, right? Exactly.
So it's one of the first games that you've played. This is a foundational game for me. It's one of the first games, particularly on this system, that I played. And so that's why it has a special place, and that's why even in our conversations about female characters in games, a lot of us have had the foundation of having female character leads, right?
Yeah.
We've played those games, and it didn't make the game worse.
No,
It didn't make the game. It didn't make the game suck. It didn't make the game terrible. So the conversation should actually be about the game itself, not about the lead character.
And it's funny you mentioned that, like with female characters have come a long way. Like they really have come a long way, because a lot of them, and they still got a ways to go, right? Because there's some female characters that are over sexualized. I think that's my biggest issue with female characters. They like over sexualize.
You don't like that they're armored two-piece babies.
Well, first of all, it doesn't match, right? Like you got these female warriors, right? And it doesn't it's not going to work.
Maybe they just need to move. You don't know. Maybe
I don't know, man.
More movement.
I don't know. I just think
that's how they get their speed, right?
That's what they say, right? That's exactly what they say, so they can keep them in the game.
Less armor means faster.
It's just, I don't know, man. It makes, that's a good, I like that. That's another conversation. That's another conversation.
Hey, we like female representation, but hey, can we not just have them scantily clad running through it? Yeah.
Like that. I'm sure you played this, Dead or Alive. You played that game?
Yes.
And you know how the women are in that game, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. You have people that play the game because they like fighting games, right? But then you have a good amount of people that probably don't like fighting games, but they play it for other reasons.
Dead or Alive.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm talking about. Like,
hey man, I'm just saying when we'll talk about that later. Dead or Alive is one of those. I talk about that frequently with my friend, that I was like, I blame them for a lot of what we see.
They kind of started.
I blame those creators for what we see a lot of today's games. So,
don't forget Tomb Raider.
No, I mean Tomb Raider, but Dead or Alive, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, they did.
They knew what they were
doing. Yeah, they did. I mean, even Tomb Raider, like the new Tomb Raider games, I love how they portray her. Like she's still pretty, right? But she's not like over sexualized. She's just a normal woman, right? That can do amazing things, but you don't have to like over sexualize her.
I mean, even in the ones, the early ones, Tomb Raider, the ones that came out not that long ago.
The ones for PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4, I mean.
Yeah. So the Rise of the Tomb Raider, so they got her. They was like, all right,
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna be honest, because those were the first two. I didn't have a PlayStation, so I didn't play the original Tomb Raider.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't play it till Rise of the Tomb Raider and basically the remake of Tomb Raider, right?
I would say the better ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and I won't go too deep in this, but the original ones weren't as the controls were really clunky, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think again, like Dead or Alive, like you have people that like those type of games, and then you have people that played it just to see Lara Croft's, right? But then the new games came out, and it was like you don't have that other option. You can play as her, but she's dressed properly, right? And
Yeah.
it's very similar to Uncharted. It's like Uncharted, but a female version of Uncharted. That's what I see from that game. It's like Uncharted. It's the same controls. It's the same type of cinematic story. You know,
I really miss Uncharted. That was a great series.
that was an amazing series.
Yeah.
But anyway,
So
go ahead.
Your final thoughts on Metroid 2.
I would say I guess I give it my rating for it is 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I give it an 8 out of 10. I instead of a 10 out of 10 is because there was no map.
Okay.
That was it. Other than that, the game is amazing. The gameplay's good. The music's good. Didn't disappoint. I wish I was able to get it when I was a kid, but that's okay. I got to play it when I was older. I still love it. I played it for the show. I couldn't put it down. I kept wanting to beat it.
Right.
I probably am going to play it after the show because I want to play it and beat it again.
Great game.
It's a great game. Yeah, it's a great game. And I just recommend it for anybody who's looking for a Metroid game or wants to get nostalgic. Get that Metroid 2 game. It's great. Yeah. What about yourself?
I will give it a 9 out of 10.
Nice.
I didn't have a problem with it not being a map. Like I said, I went into this game completely blind in a sense because I didn't really know anything about Metroid. Well, I knew Metroid existed, but I didn't know anything. I never played the game. So Metroid 2 is I always thought I was like, oh man, am I missing something? I didn't miss anything, which was great. That's actually a great thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's why I'm giving it a 9, because you could play these games independently and still get like caught up, you know. So yeah, I give it a 9 out of 10. Graphics great, music great. Being, up late with my magnifying light on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bed when I should be asleep, nostalgia.
I used to do that too.
Yeah. So it was one of the first Game Boy games I ever played, and I loved it. It was good. And I thank my parents. Shout out to my mother and father for getting it for me when I didn't ask for it, because I had no idea it existed. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
And the next question would be, how did your parents know you wanted the game?
I think they were just buying a bunch. They got me a Game Boy. And so it was like, let's get him some games with it.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I got like the weird, I didn't get like Mario or anything. I got Metroid 2, Faceball 2000, Rage Fight. So I got these weird games that like nobody was playing, I guess. Or they thought, I feel like these were the ones left on the shelf that, because around Christmas time or whatever, these were the ones that were left on the shelves. This is what he's getting for Christmas. So yeah. Metroid happened to be one of them.
That's awesome. Especially it's funny it came with it's Faceball 2000.
Yeah, I was like, I don't really know what's going on here. It's like, okay, you gotta hunt down these happy faces. Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. Well, that is Metroid 2, Return of Samus. I appreciate it, Mars. Thank you again for talking about this amazing game. We also talked a lot about the female protagonists, which, like I said, there's a whole lot of them, especially nowadays. It seems to be a lot more in games now, which is great.
It's good. Yeah.
I think it's awesome. I think females definitely were involved a lot in the gaming. I know they don't and I know they don't get a lot of representation, but I know there's a lot of female gamers out there, and I've talked to a few of them myself. So yeah,
they come up with a lot of stories for these games.
Yeah,
for these games now, so females are a big part of this. Now more than ever. And I like seeing it. I like seeing that representation. I like seeing, their input into these games. And, they're not just playing female characters, they like all kinds of games across the spectrum. So that's the other thing too, is like gaming should be for everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
And so let's just keep it open. I don't know why we have these weird discussions about what should be in it, what shouldn't be in it. I think this was always a medium that was welcoming to everyone. So let's keep it that way.
Yep. I definitely agree with that. All right. Well, I thank you, my friend. And then we're going to have another show. I don't know what episode to do next, but I think I have a whole bunch of ideas what we can do next. But we'll talk about that offline. But until then, I appreciate it. Thank you. And for everybody else, please subscribe. Please, please comment, do anything you can to give us some good feedback. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.
This is episode 11. So thank you guys.
Metroid 2 Return to Samus is a masterful piece of design that turned hardware limitations into artistic strengths. It bridges the gap between raw 8-bit action and deep atmospheric world building with an unmatched sense of isolated dread. Samus Aran's darkest mission remains one of the most mechanically important entries in the franchise, and the final sequence with the baby Metroid still hits perfectly to this day. It's tight, it's experimental, and it proved that great things come in small packages. As I said in the show, I gave Metroid 2 a stellar 8 out of 10. It's an amazing game, and I definitely recommend that you play it. Thank you again for joining us on Cartridge Chronicles. Keep your controllers ready and your adventures endless. We'll catch you in the next episode. Until then, don't stop gaming.